Prayer in public school is an exceptionally controversial subject, especially for the stakeholders of the United States educational system. When the public school system first began in the 1800s, religion and prayer were substantial elements of education. However, this strictly meant Protestant religious views were taught and Protestant versions of prayers were said. One of the original goals for education was to teach children the rules of God in order to prepare them to be good citizens and follow the laws of the newly formed American government. The idea generally thought of today as America as a melting pot of different cultures was not the thought process when it came to founding the public school system. Creating one American culture based on national pride and the values and morals of Anglo-Saxon Protestantism was the foundation from which the school system came. Early on in our nation's history, the idea of one religion in a school system that was meant for all children became a problem for people of other cultures and religions, such as the Irish Catholics. This led to the founding of the parochial school system so that Irish children could be taught Catholic values and be able to pray Catholic prayers without discrimination. Even though other cultural groups started to create their own private schools to escape the favoritism of Protestant prayer and values being taught in public schools, the government did not do much to change the educational system. It was not until the 1940s that the Supreme Court had to revisit the issue of what the First Amendment meant in terms of public education. In the landmark decision case of Everson versus the Board of Education, the justices re-examined the meaning of the Establishment Clause that reads, "Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." From their interpretations, the justices further established the dichotomous idea of the separation of church and state. In 1962, the Supreme Court ruled that official prayer within public education is illegitimate. Several court decisions have followed and supported this idea, including the case of Lee v. Wiesman in 1992, in which the Supreme Court ruled against Robert Lee. Lee was a principal of a middle school in Rhode Island who invited a rabbi to speak at a graduation ceremony. The court ruled that communal prayer within the public education system violated the Establishment Clause. There are several different views on the issue of including prayer in the public education system. One argument is that if we examine the true context of the First Amendment and what the Founding Fathers intended, we would find that eliminating prayer from school was not the true purpose of the Establishment Clause. The separation of church and state was proposed to eliminate the formation of a national religion, but not to eliminate any form of prayer within public schools. Another view comes from the history of public education. The idea is that because one religion ruled over the schooling system before, that there is no way to allow prayer in school without that happening once again. Also, it is important today as Americans to be aware that we all do not share the same beliefs or customs, and removing prayer from school is essentially how we are able to coexist without discrimination or favoritism. Lastly, a middle argument suggests that people on both sides of the issue do not look at all the facts of the rulings of the United States government. The fact is that public prayer instituted by a school in the public education system is found to be unconstitutional. Yet, private prayer is still acceptable and a protected right found in the First Amendment. This view argues that schools should not promote public prayer, but they should not deny private prayer to students. The issue of prayer, not only within schools, but also within the United States as a whole, is a difficult concept to approach. Because even though we are a country of many different people, cultures, and religions, there is no denying that as a nation we were founded by people of faith. Yet at the same time, we cannot ignore the fact that we must respect all Americans and what they believe or do not believe.